Yes. Is Jan Boyd here?
We'll check in the lobby just a second.
Okay. All right. While we're waiting for her, are there any other candidates here or any other individuals that are running for office? And if you would, please stand. Thank you.
Emily Teresa just here.
Yes. Okay. All right. We're going to go through just a couple very quick announcements. Our next meeting is Tuesday, September 11th. That'll be here at 7 o'clock. We'll be having a brief 9/11 remembrance, and we're working on the rest of the program, potentially some candidates. A lot depends on what happens in the next week or so with the Lafayette replacement situation. And don't forget to vote in the straw poll this evening. Also, I'd like to introduce, we have a new city captain in Perry, and his name is Don Densmore. Don, if you would stand. Don has done an outstanding job in Perry. He had a booth set up this past Saturday at the festival. So, we're going to have a couple of videos. One is dealing with regulation, and I don't know if anybody has seen the video of Congressman Mike Kelly in the House of Representatives talking about regulations. Anybody seen that video? Okay. Well, I was involved in a conversation with someone at the party in the park, and he was asking me, well, what regulations are you opposed to? You know, we're over-regulated. Well, sometimes it's hard to think of exactly what those regulations are. I know that we probably are over-regulated in the lemonade stand business. When kids have to get permits to have a lemonade stand. I think that's an example of over-regulation. Congressman Mike Kelly will explain that a little bit more. And then we will follow that with a video entitled, If I Wanted America to Fail. Has anybody seen that one? If I Wanted America to Fail? Okay. And then our closing remarks this evening will be from Greg Sasse. So with that, we will see if this actually works.
Can they lower the floodlights?
We won't try to do that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 2011, we came to this House for one reason, and it was a motion to recommit. We recommitted the people of the United States that we were going to change the way business was done in this town. This motion to recommit is a joke. This is ridiculous. Let me tell you about what it's like to be in the real world and not inside the Beltway. I operate a business that my father started back in 1953 after being a parts picker in a General Motors warehouse, going to fight the war and coming back home. I called our body shop manager today, Jason Schultz. He's been with me for 26 years. And I said to Jason, I need to know the cost of tape, Jason. He goes, well, what are you talking about, Mike? I said, in our body shop, when people wreck the car and bring the car, and I know we have to use a lot of tape. He says, oh my goodness, has the cost of tape gone crazy? So we use two types of tape, Mike. We use green tape. Green tape is the tape we use when we have to use water on a job, and we have to make sure that tape sticks. He said, that's up to $4 a roll. I said, tell me about the other tape. So the other tape is yellow tape. I said, yellow tape, tell me what the yellow tape does. He said, that's when we're going to paint a car, and we don't have to use the green tape. The yellow tape's a little less expensive. It's only $2 a roll. I said, well, Mike, I got to tell you, we're spending $160 a month on tape, and it's really starting to make me wonder about whether I'm doing the right thing. I said, so Jason, we're $1,000 a year on green and yellow tape. He said, yes, we are. I said, Jason, you know what the cost of red tape is? He goes, I have no idea. We don't use red tape. I said, oh, yes, we do. It's $1.75 trillion. That's the cost of red tape. And I called my friend Don Shamey at Next Tier Bank, and I said, Don, we've known each other since we were kids. Our wives know each other. Our kids grew up together. We do a lot of things together. I've done business with you for 40 years. You're right across the street from me. Don, tell me about the new regulations. He said, well, Mike, if you take a look at it, there's 1,100 pages now that are the definition of whether you're a qualified borrower or not. I said, look, it only took 1,100 pages for the government to determine what the definition is of a qualified buyer. Are you kidding me? Do you mean to sit here and say that you are serious? We renovated a ballpark in my hometown. A guy named Tom Bernatowski, veteran. It took us $2 million to renovate our ballpark. The day we were going to open up, I got a call at the dealership and said, Mike, would you come down? I said, why, what's going on? He said, we're having trouble with the occupancy permit. So I went down to see us and said, what's the problem? He said, well, here, come in the men's room. Let me show you what the problem is. I said, we have 1,500 people want to come see the opening ball game. And I said, yeah, we've got a major problem. You see, the mirrors in the restroom are 1/4 of an inch too low. So you can't possibly open that ballpark. So you want to know the price of regulation? You want to talk about the thousands and thousands of pages that we put on the backs of the job creators? You want to talk about creating jobs in America? When you want to see a nation that doesn't want to participate but wants to dominate the world market, then let them rise. Take the heavy boot off the throat of America's job creators and let them breathe. The jobs we are talking about are not red jobs or blue jobs. They are red, white, and blue jobs. They are not Democrat jobs or Republican jobs or independent jobs or libertarian jobs. They are American jobs. If you want this country to thrive, and not just survive, then please start playing the game by the rules and stop this ridiculous mockery of what it is that we do here in this town. We are so out of touch with the American people, and you know what all of this does? It adds layer after layer after layer of cost. And that cost is ultimately paid for by the American consumer. You want to have more revenues? Then let the tide rise for all boats. Let us be able to not only survive but to thrive. I urge all my colleagues on both sides now, this is not a left or right issue. This is an American issue. I urge you to rise today and vote for H.R. 4078. Let's let America get back to work. And with that, I yield back.
Without objection, the previous question is ordered on the motion.
If I wanted America to fail, to follow, not lead, to suffer, not prosper, to despair, not dream, I'd start with energy. I'd cut off America's supply of cheap, abundant energy. I couldn't take it by force. So I make Americans feel guilty about using the energy that heats their homes, fuels their cars, runs their businesses, and powers their economy. I make cheap energy expensive, so that expensive energy would seem cheap. I would empower unelected bureaucrats to outlaw America's most abundant sources of energy. After banning its use in America, I make it illegal for American companies to ship it overseas. If I wanted America to fail, I use their schools to teach one generation of Americans that their factories and their cars will have a new ice age. And I muster a straight face so I could teach the next generation that they're causing global warming. When it's cold out, I call it climate change instead. I imply that America's cities and factories could run on wind power and wishes. I teach children how to ignore the hypocrisy of condemning logging, mining, and farming while having roofs over their heads, heat in their homes, and food on their tables. I would never teach children that the free market is the only force in human history to uplift the poor, establish the middle class, and create lasting prosperity. Instead, I demonize prosperity itself so they will not miss what they will never have. If I wanted America to fail, I would create countless new regulations and seldom cancel old ones that would be so complicated that only bureaucrats, lawyers, and lobbyists could understand them.